Welcome back, everybody. I'm Sassy Pants, wife to Matty the rancher, and I'll be your storyteller today. Welcome to Adventures with Sodak Pete. Stories that celebrate the hard work, big hearts, and wide open spaces of ranch life. Out here, every day's an adventure, and we hope each and every one of you can imagine yourself as little Sodak Pete, learning the ropes, getting your hands a little dirty, and helping out where it counts. So grab your boots and tip your hat, and let's see what today's adventure has in store. Sodak Pete, the bulls go out to pasture. The sun was coming up and the kitchen smelled like bacon and toast. Matty was enjoying his breakfast and sipping his coffee while Pete ate his eggs and drank a big glass of milk. Millie just wagged her tail hoping Pete would drop some crumbs. Now friends, a big day on the ranch always starts with a good breakfast. Today's job, putting the bulls out with the cows. Matty looked at Pete and said, "Pete, since we want to start calving mid-May, it's time to put those bulls in with the cows. First, we'll take the bulls to the heifers." Pete asked, "What are heifers, Matty?" Matt said, "Heifers are young females who haven't had a calf yet. They'll need smaller bulls to make it easier when they have their first babies. Once a heifer has her first baby, then we'll call her a cow." "Then we'll take bigger bulls to the older cows," Matty said. Pete nodded. Kinda made sense, and he was pretty excited for the day ahead. After breakfast, Matty pushed back his chair. "Time to get going," he said with a smile. Pete pulled on his boots, Matty grabbed his gloves, and Millie trotted along as they headed outside. At the bull lot, the big animals stood strong and solid. Their muscles rippled as they moved, quick and powerful. Bulls may look calm, but we need to remember they are big, strong, and fast. On our ranch, we respect their strength and we remain alert and careful whenever we're working with them. Matty leaned on the fence and he pointed towards a few younger bulls. "These are the ones for the heifers," he said. "They're smaller and they'll make lighter calves. That really helps the first-time mamas. Once a heifer has her first baby, remember, she's going to be called a cow." "Stay outside the fence, Pete," Matty said. "That's the safest place for you right now." Matty eased into the corral, moving nice and slow and steady, paying attention to the bulls and making it easy for them to find the gate. With a swing of the gate, he guided those young bulls right into the smaller pen. Pete stayed outside the fence, just like Matty told him. He moved back and forth just a bit to help keep the bulls going to the right direction when Matty asked him to, and he hurried to fetch the latch when Matt was ready. The bulls clomped into the trailer and the gate clicked shut behind them. Millie stayed close to Pete, ears up, keeping watch from a safe spot outside the fence. By late morning, Old Gray rumbled down the gravel road with the trailer hooked up behind. Pete watched out the back window, seeing the bulls shift their weight as the truck bounced along. When they got to the heifer pasture, Matty made a little loop out into the pasture facing the trailer door back to the cows. The young bulls jumped out of the trailer, noses down and sniffing the fresh grass, letting out a low beller. Pete leaned on the fence grinning. "Those heifers will be mamas for the first time next spring. It'll be fun to see what their babies look like," Pete said with excitement. Millie wagged her tail, glad this job was done. When they got back to the house, we sat down to a big ranch dinner. Roast beef, mashed potatoes, sweet corn, and warm bread with butter. It was a little later than usual and everyone was hungry after a morning full of work. After dinner, Matty and Pete pulled their hats back on and headed right back outside. Now Pete knew what to expect and he was ready to get the next group of bulls loaded up. Back at the bull lot, Matty pointed to a few of the bigger, older bulls. "These will go with the middle-aged and older cows," he said. "We want to make sure we have about one bull for every 20 to 30 cows." Matty stepped into the corral again, steady and sure. With quiet moves and a calm action and a swing of the gate, he sorted those big bulls right into the smaller pen. Pete stayed outside, just like before. He shifted back and forth a bit when Matty asked him to, helping the bulls keep moving. When the latch needed closing, Pete hurried to do his part. The gate clicked shut as the last bull stepped into the trailer. The working day was getting close to its end as Old Gray pulled into the pasture where the older cows were. Matty eased the trailer gate open and the big bulls trotted out to join the herd. They were bellowing low to let the cows know they had arrived. Cows bawled, calves stuck close to their mamas, and dust floated in the evening air. Pete counted the bulls one by one and made sure he had all the tag numbers right. When the work was done, Matty pulled out his phone. Together, Matty and Pete made notes. Which bulls went in with the heifers? They wrote down the numbers in the tags. Which bulls went in with the older cows? Same thing, wrote down the numbers in the tags. Tag numbers carefully typed into Matty's phone, and then when they got home, they wrote them on the wall calendar. Pete smiled, proud to help with the record keeping and the big job of getting the bulls out to pasture. 2 groups of cows had bulls settled in, and tomorrow they would finish the job. At the end of the day, Matt and Pete kicked off their dusty boots and sat on the porch steps. Millie curled up nearby. Her ears were twitching as the night settled in. Above them, the sky stretched wide and full of stars. A cool breeze drifted across the yard, carrying the soft sound of cows from the pastures. "Well, Pete, we got 2 groups settled in today," Matty said, leaning back against the railing. "Tomorrow we'll finish the last of them." Pete grinned. "It was a good day." And it was. We were thankful for a safe and productive day. Thankful for healthy mama cows, strong bulls, and the promise of new calves next spring. The good Lord sure is generous. Thanks for riding along with us today. Sodak Pete and I hope you'll join us on our next adventure.